Do you know how a pearl is really formed? Most people get it wrong. They think it's a grain of sand, a tiny irritant that the oyster smoothly coats with nacre, layer upon beautiful layer. That's the pretty story. The truth is much more brutal. A pearl begins with a catastrophe, a parasitic worm, a piece of sharp gravel, a fragment of shell that breaches the oyster's defenses. It's a wound, a violation, and it cannot be expelled. The oyster is under attack from the inside, so it does the only thing it can do to survive. It begins to secrete. It wraps the invader, this source of its agony, in a substance that hardens around the pain. It doesn't remove the problem. It doesn't heal the wound. It builds a monument around it, a beautiful, iridescent tomb for its suffering. That is what a pearl is, a fossilized injury, a gorgeous scar. And that is what I want to talk to you about today. Not the pearl, but the wound. Not the success, but the 30 failures that create it. If you were 30 failures away from everything you ever wanted, how fast would you want to fail? I used to think success was a destination, a place you arrived at after a long, difficult journey. You'd pack your bags with talent and hope, you'd map out the perfect route, and you'd set off, avoiding pitfalls and bandits along the way. The goal was to reach the shining city on the hill without getting lost, without getting dirty, without a single scratch on your pristine armor. I spent years polishing that armor. I planned, I researched, I prepared. I waited for the perfect weather, the perfect alignment of the stars, the perfect moment when I was absolutely 100% ready. And in all that waiting, I never took a single real step. I was a knight who never left the castle, because the road was muddy and dragons are, by their very nature, dangerous. I was so terrified of the wound that I never gave myself the chance to create the pearl. The first rule: failure isn't the enemy, it's the toll gate. You don't get to bypass it. You don't get a free pass. You have to pay the price. Every single time. I remember my first real attempt at something that mattered to me. I was going to write a book. I had the idea, the characters, the whole plot outlined in a beautiful leather-bound notebook. I told a few close friends. They were excited for me. I felt like a writer for about a week. Then I sat down to write the first chapter, and it was terrible. It was clunky, the dialogue was forced, the descriptions were purple. It was a corpse of a chapter, and I was the one who had killed it. My immediate reaction was to close the laptop, to put the notebook away, to tell myself I just needed more life experience, or a better writing desk, or to read a few more books on the crap. I was trying to find a back road, a secret path that avoided the toll gate. There isn't one. That terrible first chapter was the toll. It was the price of admission. I didn't know it then, but I was one failure in. I had 29 to go, and I just stopped paying. Most people delay action because they fear failing, but if failing moves you forward, the real danger is moving too slowly. You don't need to win faster. You need to fail faster. Think about it. If you need 30 failures, what is the optimal timeline? A year? 5 years? A lifetime? If you could compress that timeline, if you could get those 30 failures out of the way in 6 months, what would that be worth? It would be worth everything. Because on the other side of that 30th failure is the thing you want. The book deal, the successful business, the relationship that lasts, the mastery of the skill. The fear of failure makes us cautious. It makes us deliberate. It makes us slow. And that slowness is the true thief. It doesn't steal your success. It steals your time. It steals the years you could have spent living on the other side of that struggle. I wasted years being slow, being careful. And I was like a man trying to cross a minefield by tiptoeing, when what I should have been doing was sprinting, setting off every single mine as quickly as possible, mapping the explosions until I found the safe path. The mines are going to go off anyway. The failures are going to happen. The only variable you control is the speed What if failure was just progress wearing a mask? You see the grimace, the twisted features, and you look away in disgust or fear. But underneath that grotesque disguise is your teacher, your guide, your compass. You see mistakes. You feel the hot flush of disappointment, the sinking feeling in your gut. But underneath every failure is information. It's a data point. It's a signpost that says, not this way. When Thomas Edison was asked about his 10,000 failed attempts to invent the light bulb, he didn't call them failures. He said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. He was unmasking the failure. He was seeing the progress hidden beneath the disguise. Every short-circuited filament, every burnt-out wire was a lesson. It was telling him what material couldn't withstand the current, what design couldn't contain the glow. He wasn't failing. He was learning. He was leveling up. Fail. Challenge. Learn. Level up. Bite. It's a 3-word mantra for a life of constant evolution. My terrible first chapter wasn't a failure. It was a lesson. It was telling me that my outlining process was flawed, that I was trying to sound like a writer instead of just writing, that I needed to find my own voice. But I was too busy feeling the sting to listen to the lesson. The faster you fail, the faster you adapt. Failure is feedback. It's the universe, or the market, or your own body giving you a report card. It's not a judgment on your soul. It's not a life sentence. It's a piece of paper that says, here's what you did wrong. Here's how to do better. Feedback gives direction. If you're lost in a forest, every wrong turn is valuable. Every path that leads to a cliff edge tells you that the valley must be in the other direction. You are triangulating your position through your mistakes. And direction gives speed. Once you know which way to run, you can run like the wind. You are no longer wandering in circles. You are heading true north. So, the fastest road to success is not the straight, smooth, empty highway. That doesn't exist. The fastest road to success is the one littered with the most wreckage. It's the road where you crashed the car a dozen times, blew out the tires, overheated the engine. Because with every crash, you learned how to build a better car. You learned how to be a better driver. Imagine success has a counter, a digital display, like an old-fashioned gas pump, ticking upwards. But it doesn't count wins. It counts losses. You need 30 failures to reach it. Every single person who has ever achieved what you want to achieve has stood in front of that counter and watched it climb. 1, 5, 12, 28, 29. They all had to pay. Every day you avoid risk. Every day you delay starting. Every day you choose the safe option because you're afraid of the number on that counter going up. You're just delaying the inevitable. You're just delaying the inevitable. You are standing outside the gym, looking at the heavy door, afraid of the burn in your muscles. But the burn is the point. The burn is what builds the muscle. You cannot get strong without it. You are postponing your own transformation because you don't want to feel the temporary pain. But the pain of the workout is fleeting. The pain of being weak year after year is a constant dull ache that never goes away. Most people don't succeed because they don't fail enough. One failure, and they stop. They take that first toll payment as a sign that the road is closed. They turn around and go home, telling themselves the journey was too expensive. 5 failures, and they doubt. They question their map, their vehicle, their very destination. Maybe I'm not cut out for this, they whisper to themselves in the dark. 10 failures and they quit. They decide the city on the hill is a mirage, a myth for other people, not for them. But they never knew. They never knew the winning number was 30. They quit at 10 with 20 payments left. They were so close, but the cumulative weight of the tolls felt like a mountain on their back, and they couldn't see the summit. They didn't understand that the mountain was made of the very failures that were forming the steps beneath their feet. Failure stings. There's no sugarcoating that. It's a sharp, immediate pain. It's the rejection letter, the failed product launch, the awkward first date that never leads to a second. It's the feeling of your own ambition turning around and biting you. But regret burns. Regret is a slow, cold fire that smolders in your bones for decades. It's the life you never tried to build. It's the book you never wrote, the business you never started, the person you never had the courage to become. You can heal from mistakes. You can learn from them, grow from them, incorporate them into the beautiful, complex tapestry of your life. A scar is a story, but you can't heal from a void. You can't heal from an emptiness. You can't find a lesson in something you never attempted. The sting of failure is a acute, localized pain. The burn of regret is a cancer of the soul. Fail boldly. Fail purposefully. Choose the sting over the burn. Always. Failure means you're in the arena. It means you're down in the dirt, sweat in your eyes, blood on your lip, fighting for something. The person in the stands, the critic, the commentator, they can't fail. They are safe. They are clean. They are also completely and utterly powerless. They cannot win because they are not playing the game. You can't fail if you do nothing. You also can't win. Action, any action, even clumsy, imperfect, doomed to fail action, is always better than perfect inaction. Perfection is the armor we use to keep ourselves out of the arena. It's the excuse we hide behind. I'm not ready yet. It's not perfect. Of course it's not perfect. It's your first attempt, or your 5th, or your 29th. It's supposed to be flawed. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to be in the fight, to be present, to be participating in your own life. The critic's voice is loud, but it's empty. The person in the arena is covered in dust and blood, but their voice, when they speak, shakes the earth. Failure is acceleration. It feels like the opposite, I know. It feels like slamming on the brakes. It feels like you've lost momentum. But that's an illusion. Every attempt, successful or not, increases your odds. You are gathering information. You are testing hypotheses. You are eliminating variables. It's like searching for a treasure chest in a vast field. Every hole you dig that comes up empty isn't a setback. It's a process of elimination. You are narrowing the search. The very next hole could be the one. Every mistake sharpens your aim. A marksman doesn't become accurate by staring at the target. They become accurate by firing 1,000 rounds, by seeing where each one lands, by adjusting their grip, their stance, their breath. The failures are the errant shots that teach them how to find the bullseye. The only real slowdown, the only true impediment to your progress, is hesitation. The pause between shots. The long, anxious moment where you're afraid to pull the trigger again because the last one missed. That pause is where dreams go to die. That is the silence that regret fills. If failure is necessary, and it is, then fear is a waste of time. Think about that. Why fear something that is an essential, non-negotiable part of the process? It's like fearing the reps at the gym. It's like fearing the practice sessions before a concert. It's like a chef fearing the process of chopping vegetables. This is the work. This is the labor. The fear is a cognitive error, a glitch in your thinking. You have misidentified a necessary component of success as its enemy. Why avoid something that grows you? A plant is not grown in the comfort of the seed packet. It's grown by being forced to push through the dark, heavy soil. The struggle is what makes it strong enough to reach the sun. Why delay a step you must take anyway? You are going to have to pay these tolls. You are going to have to dig these holes. You are going to have to fire these shots. The only choice you have is the tempo. You can do it slowly, reluctantly, with fear and trembling, stretching the pain out over a decade. Or you can do it quickly, deliberately, with purpose and focus, compressing the struggle into a season of your life. You're not failing 30 times. You're progressing 30 levels. This is the most important shift in perspective. In a video game, you don't complain when you have to defeat a boss to get to the next level. The boss is the gateway. The failure is the boss. Each failure upgrades you. It downloads a new piece of software into your system. A new lesson that makes you wiser. A new strength that makes you more resilient. A new skill that makes you more capable. You are literally leveling up. Your character sheet is getting more impressive with every single defeat. The you that faces the second failure is not the same as the you that faced the first. You've got one more piece of the puzzle. The you that faces the 20th failure is a veteran, a seasoned campaigner who has seen the battlefield and knows how to survive. You are not being broken down. You are being built up. The failures are the bricks, and you are the mortar. So the real question, the only question that matters, is no longer, what if I fail? That question is obsolete. It's like asking, what if I have to breathe? The question is, how fast can I get my next failure out of the way? This changes everything. It turns passivity into activity. It turns dread into strategy. You are no longer a passive victim, waiting for failure to strike you down. You are an active hunter, stalking failure, seeking it out. You wake up in the morning, and your primary goal is to find a new way to fail. Because you know that with every failure you cross off the list, you are one step closer. You are hunting the parasitic worm that will become your pearl. You are seeking the wound that will become your beauty. Let me tell you a story, not about a famous inventor or a legendary artist. A story about me. After that first failed book chapter, I didn't write for a long time. The dream fossilized. It became a brittle, delicate thing I kept on a high shelf, too afraid to touch it. Then, something shifted in me. I got tired of the regret. The burn was becoming unbearable. I decided to try again, but this time I set a different goal. My goal was not to write a good chapter. My goal was to write a bad one. A truly, spectacularly terrible one. I gave myself permission to fail. And I did. I wrote a chapter so bad, it would have made a soap opera writer blush. And it was liberating. I had achieved my goal. I had gotten my failure. I celebrated it. I crossed failure 2 off my mental list. Then I did it again. Failure 3 was a story that had no plot. Failure 4 was a character so wooden he could have been used as furniture. Failure 5 was a romance so unconvincing it was almost a satire. I was failing faster. I was hunting my failures. And with each one, I learned. I learned about pacing, about dialogue, about motivation. I was leveling up. By failure 15, the chapters were no longer catastrophes. They were just mediocre. They were forgettable. That was progress. By failure 22, I was writing things that were okay. They had moments. A good line here, a compelling scene there. The feedback was changing. The lessons were getting more subtle, more refined. I was no longer learning how to build a basic structure. I was learning how to add the fine details, the ornamentation. Failure 29 was a heartbreaker. It was a story I loved. I poured everything into it. I sent it out, and it was rejected. But the rejection was different. It wasn't a form letter. It was a personal note. It said, "This is very strong. The voice is unique. The ending didn't quite work for me, but I'd be interested to see what you write next." That wasn't a failure. That was a progress report. It was a signpost that said, "You are 1 block away from your destination." I sat down to write what I knew was failure 30. I didn't feel fear. I felt a strange electric calm. I wasn't trying to write a masterpiece. I was just trying to get this last failure out of the way. I wrote the story. It flowed out of me, not as a desperate attempt to succeed, but as the final payment on a long-standing debt. I sent it out, and a few weeks later, I got the email. the one I had dreamed of for years. It was an acceptance. I had reached the counter. The 30th failure had been the charm. But here's the secret I learned in that moment. The success, the acceptance, the achievement. It felt good. It felt wonderful. But it wasn't the life-changing part. The life-changing part was the person I had become in the process of collecting those 30 failures. I was no longer the timid knight in the castle. I was a warrior, covered in the beautiful scars of 100 battles. The pearl was nice, but the oyster I had become was the real prize. This is your call to action. It's not a call to succeed. It's a call to fail. Today, right now, I want you to think of one thing, one goal that feels distant and impossible. The book, the business, the conversation, the skill. Now I want you to reframe it. You are not 30 successes away. You are 30 failures away. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go out and find your first failure. Hunt it down. Seek it actively. Write the terrible first page. Make the clumsy first sales call. Have the awkward first conversation. And when you fail, and you will, I want you to celebrate. I want you to say, 1 down. Mark it on a piece of paper. A tally, 1 little line. That line is not a mark of shame. It is a step forward. It is a toll paid. It is a level gained. The faster you accumulate those lines, the faster you will reach the life you are meant to be living. Stop trying to build a perfect life. Start building a life that is strong enough, resilient enough, to contain all the beautiful, necessary scars. Become the oyster. Welcome the wound. And get to work on your pearl.